Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for your testimony today. Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Senator Vance from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks to our three witnesses for being here. You know, I wanted to ask a series of questions, I guess, to Mr. Binda, because, you know, this is a very important topic, fraud, how it affects consumers. But in particular, I hear a lot about how it affects elderly consumers in the state of Ohio. You know, we spend a lot of time in Congress, I think, rightfully lauding innovation and advancements in technology, and they do bring a lot of benefits, but of course they bring a lot of risks. And you know, one of the things that, you know, I hear a lot about from constituents back home is that there are a lot of spoofing scams, sort of deploying and employing modern technology to basically trick a lot of our elderly folks into giving money, very often preying on sort of the best sentiments. You know, a grandchild calling needs bail money, something like that. And of course, it's not. It's very often a person who's just trying to scam them. And so I really worry about what this looks like and whether, you know, the sort of the modern technology infrastructure that we have in this country, while obviously it has a ton of benefits, has also enabled this massive amount of scam on our elderly Americans. It's not just anecdotal. Americans lost in 2019 over $3 billion due to financial exploitation. And we know seniors are particularly targeted by a lot of this. So I would ask this question, Mr. Binda. I know this is an issue that affects your member banks, and obviously it's customers. I know that you guys deal all the time with these scams, and then you have to pick up the pieces and hopefully help the customers, I think, address some of the problems. Could you build on sort of what you guys are seeing, what's out there, what are the spoofing scams that are particularly concerning to you, and what we can do from a financial and banking perspective to mitigate some of this stuff?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So I think you're hitting the nail on the head. The FTC even put out alert just last summer that talked about bank impersonation scams being the #1 scam out there.
Yep.
Everyone probably on this dais has gotten that text message that says, hey, did you have this fraud alert? Did you make this transaction? And you reply to that because it looks like exactly like something coming from your bank. And then they lure you in, they socially engineer you in. And I want to be clear, these people are very good at what they do. They're very bad people, they're criminals, they're very convincing.
Yep.
It is not stupid people that fall for these. So what we would like to see happen is trying to attack this impersonation scams. Can we figure out a way, and you're right, our technology infrastructure isn't where it needs to be, to ensure that that caller ID message is accurate. If any point in that process that authentication drops, there's a process the FCC has, but it can be worked around. If that authentication drops, it should be an unknown caller. We shouldn't allow people to fraudulently display wrong names. My dad's 86. If it says his bank on that caller ID, he thinks it's his bank.
Yep.
And so we need to stop that because they are the ones that are enabling those scams to occur.
And is that something telecommunications company? Maybe this is outside the jurisdiction of this particular committee, though. I know a guy on the Commerce Committee. Is this something that, like, our technology and communications infrastructure should be better at? I mean, you know, recognizing it's not necessarily your area of expertise, like, what can we be doing to better police this stuff and prevent it from happening?
So the FCC has active rulemaking on the implementation of Stir Shaken. We'd like to see that move more quickly. We'd like to see it more default to versus right now they let messages through if they meet certain things. Basically, default to you don't get to display any message unless you're at the gold standard level.
Got it.
I think that's one thing we could make right now that would really help.
Okay, great. I'll yield the remainder of my time, but appreciate the guests being here and appreciate the chairman for hosting the committee.
Senator Vance, Senator Van Hollen of Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank